Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but I'm finally back and with a new hat. So, without further ado, let's get started. The heroic age has begun. So let's talk about the Avengers. Start off with Avengers number 1. Okay, so the heroic age has begun, the siege is over. And first things first, we start off, after a brief little intro for the story, we start off with Steve Rogers, the new super cop in the world. And there's a whole intro section here where he starts off by gathering all the Avengers together. But not just the Avengers for this story, for the Avengers for for the new Avengers, Secret Avengers, Avengers Academy, all the Avengers teams. So in a way, this comic is actually kind of the first issue for the entire Avengers line. Keep that in mind, that's going to be interesting later. Admittedly, this one wasn't too thrilled with it, but let's start with what I did like. There is, apart from that intro scene, there is a big showcase of big names: Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the new Captain America, Bucky Barnes, and Spider-Man. Didn't know Spider-Man was an Avenger, but whatever works. He's still pretty cool. Oh, and the icing on the cake, and the reason I picked this comic up in the first place? Kang the Conqueror. Yes, when I saw Kang the Conqueror, the arch enemy of the Avengers, was going to be in this, I was like, okay, pick it up. Gotta see how this goes. But, to be completely honest, they don't do much with him. There is a pretty cool scene where Thor punches him hard. But other than that, he's just kind of the messenger boy for a greater threat. So, not much happens here. And I gotta say, I'm not too thrilled with the artwork. It is cool to some extent, but I never thought I'd be the one to judge artwork. And admittedly, I saw the same kind of artwork used in World War Hulk, for the itch on my head. But overall, I'm not too impressed. It's still a good issue, and if you're an Avengers fan, definitely pick it up. My overall rating, 3 out of 5. If you don't agree with me, you're free to leave comments and say I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't be too harsh, though. Alright, next up, Avengers Academy. I wasn't going to pick this up, mainly because it's about a new team, and, we want to focus on I particularly want to focus on the old characters. But then someone recommended this, I picked it up, just kind of fell in love with the story. So what's it about? Basically, you have a bunch of young superheroes in training, who are going to be potential Avengers. The whole story is actually told from the point of view of, let's see this girl here, right here, the mummy girl, the black mummy girl, named Maddie, who's a socially awkward teenager. So we can all kind of, get into that groove, even when we're not specifically dorky like she is. We can all relate to that character. And she finds out she has superpowers. She can turn into gas, and they bring her onto this team. And this is actually, she found out about her powers during the Dark Reign. She worked under Norman Osborn a while, and she said that wasn't fun at all. So now she's working with these new kids. And believably, they're all likable characters. They're all kind of, we have these powers. We don't really, much like most heroes in the Marvel Universe, much like the X-Men, we have these powers. Not necessarily a blessing, but we're learning to cope with them. I mean, you've got Metal, who's can turn into iridium. You've got Hazmat, who's all toxic and poison and radioactive, and you've got Veil, who turns into gas. You've got Finesse, who's like an expert in everything. But yeah, definitely a cool story. There's no arch enemy in this one, but they do set up a dilemma. I'm not going to give away too much unless you read it for yourself, but I am definitely going to recommend this one. The artwork is much better than Avengers. I like the story a little bit more too, connected with the characters. So overall, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Definitely check this one out. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I actually did, my big finger, I actually did read Avengers number 2. It's more of the same from Avengers. I'm really waiting for a more in-depth story, so we'll see how that turns out. And finally, my last pick of the week. The best one, Secret Avengers. Yes, there we go. So what happens here, much like all the other teams, Steve Rogers puts together another group of Avengers. This is more of a Black Ops strike force. Got some pretty good names on here. We've got Steve Rogers obviously leading the team. His co-captain is Sharon Carter, his ex-SHIELD agent, former girlfriend. You've also got War Machine, Beast, Black Widow, Valkyrie, Moon Knight, Ant-Man, and Nova. So that's a pretty good team right there. Anyway, as for the story, basically they don't beat around the bush, they just dive right in. A lot of people criticize that, but I guess if you read Avengers number 1, it'll explain everything. The main story revolves around hunting down the Serpent Crown, which is a magical artifact. If you put it on, you become devil-possessed. And, get this, a mission to Mars. That is awesome. As for the artwork, well, I have to say, it is definitely the best of the three. It's shadowy, it's much like Dark Avengers, but in a sense, it's a little bit lighter. I know Dark Avengers was meant to be dark and gritty, and this isn't so much gritty as it is shadowy. It's the Avengers in the shadows, trying to solve the world's problems before they become out of control. I'm loving this series. It's my favorite so far. And it's got a really good story going on, so all I have to say is 5 out of 5. Check them both out. Check out this series. Well, that's going to wrap it up for right now. I'm going to try to turn these reviews out on a weekly basis from now on. Gonna try. And, alright. I will see you guys next week. See ya.